Hi folks, Mr. Long here. We're doing a review of algebra skills related to area and perimeter. And specific focus we're going to have today is what the set of questions listed under B on the review activity, which is we're going to consider two triangles, and those two triangles are going to have equal perimeters. One triangle is going to have all three sides listed separately. The other triangle, the second one, which I'm moving my mouse around right now, it will have just the total perimeter. Okay, so let's look at the specific question we're gonna do then. Whoops, always do that. Sorry, folks, it's a lot easier. This program for my PDFs is hypersensitive to changing sides. Okay, so here we go. Triangle 1, question 2. So question 2, it says the first side is 7x plus 22, which means the side length is 7 times some number plus 22. The second side is 3 times the same number plus 3 more, 3 constants. And the third side has a length of 10. Underneath here, you see that the total perimeter of triangle 2 is also in terms of both x and a constant. So 12 multiplied by a number plus 27. Okay, so that's the scenario that we have. So here's what we've got to do. By the way, the algebra skills for this one, the emphasis is on simplifying by collecting like terms. Like terms means like the x's are like, and then the terms without x, they're like as well. So we collect like terms, which makes it simpler. And then the other thing that's going to be different here is we're going to be solving equations with variables on both sides. Okay, so let's look at the solution now. Let's look at the solution. So here are two triangles. There's the first triangle, there's the second triangle. The first triangle, the side lengths are all separate. You may hear a dog barking in the background or running around, one of our two dogs. My apologies if one of them starts barking. And then the second triangle is right here, and there's the perimeter for it, 12x plus 27. That's all the way around already, right? It's already been determined for you. So here's what we know. We know the perimeter of triangle 1 is equal to the perimeter of triangle 2. So what we need to do is we need to get a simplified equation for the perimeter of triangle 1 with 7x plus 22, 3x plus 3, and 10. So I think we know when perimeter, we're going all the way around the outside, we've got to add up the three sides. So here's triangle 1, 7x plus 22 plus 3x plus 3 plus 10. So because the x's can't be added to the constants or the numbers because we don't know what x is yet, we add them separately. Okay, and those types of things are called like terms. So 7x plus 3x is 10x's, 22 plus 3 is 25, plus 10 more is 35. Okay, so what does that equal? And here's a part where you're going to look across and you're going to say, okay, so there's the perimeter of the first triangle, 10x plus 35. Here's the perimeter of the second triangle, 12x plus 27. We know those are equal. So I have to come up with a number x that will result in the quantity on the left being equal to the quantity on the right. Okay, so what's the issue here? What are we trying to do? Well, we know that when two numbers are the same, if you subtract them, like for example, there's 3 equals 3. If 3 equals 3, then what is 3 minus 3? Well, 3 minus 3 will always equal 0. When two things are equal, when you subtract them, the result is 0. So we're going to do the same thing here. We know that 12x plus 27 happens to be equal to 10x plus 35, right? Happens to be equal. And so what we can do is, if those are equal, I can subtract them, and I know the result is 0. So since 10x has less x's than 12x, I'm going to put it underneath. So these two formulas are equal, denoted by the equal sign. So if I subtract them, the answer will be 0. When two things are equal, if I subtract them, the answer is 0. So 12x minus 10x is 2x's. 27 minus 35 is negative 8. So now I've got an equation to solve, right? So again, fairly straightforward. These equations are really easy because because the right side's equal to 0. So I know I do my BEDMAS, I do my inverse. My inverse operations are to add 8 and then divide by 2. And that applies to 0. So it's very easy. 0 plus 8, 0 plus 8 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So x is worth 4. Now I have to go back in and figure out what side 1 and side 2 are using the formulas. So right here you see the formula for side 1, right, is right there. There's a formula for side 1. It was 7x plus 22, but we know now that x is worth 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. 28 plus 22 is 50. And then you would do the same thing for side 2. Okay, so again, what were we doing in this question? We were collecting like terms, but we created an equation in this case with variables on both sides. When you have variables on both sides, there are many ways to solve these equations, but one of the easiest ways to solve it is to do this, to subtract them and set the difference equal to 0. Because we have to remember, when two things are equal, if I subtract them, I'm always going to get 0. And that's a really handy thing in math to know. Even though 12x plus 7 doesn't at all look like 10x plus 35, they are equal, right? They're equal. So if you substituted 4 into there and substituted 4 into there, you'd find out exactly that they're equal. Okay. All right, so that's the second style of question, part B.